reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajul Sharif is through promoting the values of Karbala. Imam Hussain Media Group is the only Shia television network that broadcasts globally in 5 different languages: Arabic, Farsi, Turkish, Urdu, and English. We are appealing to the lovers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam worldwide to support the channel such that it may continue its global operations. Imam Hussain Media Group is seeking 1,000 partners to pledge to a £14 contribution per month. This will allow the channel to sustain its operating costs as we continue to spread the message of Imam Hussain alayhi salam in multiple languages across the globe. You be a part of this great legacy and donate today. You can pledge in 2 ways. www.imamhussain3.tv/donate will take you direct to our donation page where you can pledge monthly. Or you can call or WhatsApp us on 0044 793 9917163. Imam Hussain TV, your gateway to Karbala.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Ahkam SOS, the show that discusses Islamic duties and practices. Now, this is a live show. We do take in your questions and we try to answer all of your questions. So send them in via the WhatsApp, the email address. If you'd like to give us a call live in the studio, 0203 515 0199. If you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, put your questions in the comment section. Inshallah, the technical team will be able to send your questions to me on my iPad, inshallah, and I'll be able to discuss them with the Sheikh. I'm your host, Mohsin Shah, and joining me is Sheikh Ali Ma. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
How are you this evening?
Alhamdulillah, fine.
MashaAllah. Sheikhna, in this day and age, women are working more than ever in institutions such as schools, hospital care homes, government ministries, and professions such as marketing. How can a government deal with issues of women in a way that does not undermine her femininity?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. Working women should be given more leave than men in overall, to be able to participate in the cultural, educational, religious events or fields or aspects, so that they can have some time with this regard to attend, let's say, majalis, lectures, events, and so forth. Because the work hours takes a lot of one's effort and time, especially ladies, in which they have some kind of, two main jobs. The main one is at home, and the second job is, let's say, at work, outside the house. So they have to be given more leave. Also, they should be given more leave again than men, to be able to see their families, their children, for example, to basically get in touch with other people, let's say friends, neighbors, whoever they like to see and meet. So that would be a credit for them in somehow. We don't want to basically use the woman just to, for example, do admin work, for example, from 9 to 5 every day. She needs a bit of time to relax, to be with her family, to be with her children, for example. That's important. They should be given more leave in overall.
Sheikhna, Islamic laws, would you say that they are strict or lenient?
In overall, the Islamic laws are laid down to be simplified and ease of use. the Holy Quran is one of the most important sources for these arguments. In Surah number 2, verse 185, Allah states, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمْ الْيُسْرِ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمْ الْعُسْرِ. Allah desires for you ease. He does not desire for you hardship. So Islam as a religion is there to ease the life of the humanity. Unlike those who think that Islam is too strict and too much instructions and instructions and orders and ahkam and so forth. But that all is for the benefit of the human being. For example, these ibadat and worships are there to give some kind of spiritual energy to the human being. If you abandon ibadah and worship, you will end up in somehow feeling depressed. And that's why we have one of the most diseases today in this century is the depression within those who have no religion or belief. And overall, we still have, of course, a percentage of those who are believers and they are depressed and they have depression. But in overall, you would see this with those who have no faith or aqidah in overall. And the suicides and the reports are there mainly from the Europe, some Europe countries. So the faith and the aqidah and the religion is there to give you the right guidance for your life, to tell you how to live properly. Otherwise, you would see even today in some countries, they are eating snakes and scorpions and na'udhu billah, because there's no faith, no aqidah. You can eat anything you want. You can even some countries, I think in China, they eat dog meat.
Yeah.
Because there's no aqidah that tells them this is not only haram, but this is harmful. You'll be in somehow, it's filled with diseases, so you have to be careful. The aqidah, the religion is there to give the right guideline, to make the mankind happy in this world and the hereafter. So those who abandon religion and faith and aqidah, they're going to fall into different, let's say, problems or anxieties as a result of leaving aqidah and faith as a result.
Excellent. Sheikh, I've got questions coming in from our viewers from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Any advice for someone who sees marhumin in their dreams on a regular occasion, who gives messages to their family?
Indeed, it depends on what type of dream it was, but in overall, the one should do, let's say, niyaz or thawab and send for them as much as we can.
Yes.
Pay sadaqah on their behalf, do niyaz, do barakah, even organize and establish majalis, dhikr, let's say, for their thawab, for their rewards, inshallah.
Inshallah. Another one from YouTube. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalam.
What is the best way to refute walayatul faqih?
This subject should be discussed by the ulama themselves in Hawza.
Okay, fair enough. Another one here. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
From YouTube. While praying qadha wajib namaz, can we change the niyyah, i.e. from dhuhr to asr?
There is a discussion with this regard that if you can change the from wajib to wajib or mustahab to wajib, it depends really. But you are in the state of dhuhr, for example. Why do you want to change to asr? You can't change to asr because you have to pray first dhuhr. You finish dhuhr and then you switch to asr and so forth.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalam.
What should we do when school or university wants to ban the hijab and female students are banned from school from wearing hijab? This is the case in France, Belgium and India.
Well, hijab is wajib upon the sisters. In this case, you have to in somehow find other places, other cities, for example, that would allow you to wear hijab in that state or city. Otherwise, you have to find different ways. Today, alhamdulillah, today with the COVID situation, we have the online schools in somehow where you can be taught by online, by Zoom and so forth. If there's no way, then the one can actually study from home and connect to other schools who provide online, let's say, classes. In this situation, one can actually still benefit while this ban is being also implemented, because you cannot perform haram just because of studying. So you have to find a different way to study.
Inshallah, ahsantum. Sheikhna, in the recitation, is the recitation of Adhan and Aqamah for daily prayers and other prayers compulsory?
No, but they're mustahab and encouraged.
Alright, thank you. Is the sweat of sexual intercourse najis?
No, it is not.
Okay. Is being gay in Islam allowed? Sheikhna, it's more to do with, I think this question is in terms of having, not being, having an affinity towards ladies rather than like being gay. Meaning there's being gay practically, and then there's one who just doesn't find women attractive and is more attracted to the men and so forth. What's the Islamic stance on this?
You see, anything that is outside the boundary of the Islamic ahkam and rulings, one should avoid it, or to find a treatment for it. If this gentleman is in such a dilemma or situation, they need to go initially to see psychiatric, mental disease, I don't know, hospital and doctors and so forth.
Okay.
And then try to find a way in which they can cure themselves gradually.
Okay, fair enough. Sheikhna, if the musalli has something on him of the maita or dead corpse that is normally of living tissue, such as flesh or skin, can he perform the salah?
Having parts of the dead animal which died not in the halal slaughtering process, let's say a sheep died naturally, or a cow, or let's say other animals, cats and so forth. If one prays with these parts of the maita, of the dead corpse, which is najis, of course the salah would be void, even if it's like a small piece of skin or flesh. The salah is not accepted, because that's maita, you cannot carry it in salah.
Sheikhna, speaking about salah, if one has missed one or more salahs in previous days, should he pray the missed ones first?
No, it's not mandatory for the one to pray the missed one first, because imagine that you have 1 year of salah, missed salah. You can't pray them in one day. It's 365 days of
times
5 times 5.
That's
So usually, as we have advice to pray them gradually with each salah. You finish wajib salah, then pray the qada salah with it while you're in that state on the prayer mat.
Yes.
Continue your qada slowly.
Inshallah. Sheikhna, is the wet position on which a dead cat or dead rat has fallen regarded as impure from the opinion of His Eminence the Grand Ayatollah Sheikh Bashir al-Najifi?
Yes, indeed, the Sheikh mentions that it is impure and najis, because as we just said, that if those animals die naturally without being slaughtered, let's say as I just said, the cow or the sheep, or even the cats and the rats, they become like maita, dead corpse, then of course they are najis. If there was if you touch them with wet hand and moisture, otherwise it is tahir if it's dry.
Okay. Some questions from our viewers, Sheikhna. From the WhatsApp, if I pray with a leather belt or a wallet made from leather of a maita and realize it during the salah and after finishing it, but before the end of its time of span, or after the end of its time of span, what would become of that prayer?
I mean, different opinions with this regard. I've read previously that one you can take off in the salah.
Yes.
And one would, to carry on, مثلا. One might not accept it. على كل حال, it's debatable.
Yeah. Does a woman enter the state of janaba if she reaches orgasm without penetration?
I mean, if she reaches that stage and passes, liquid and so forth, it could be. I mean, it could be something similar to the men.
I see. We'll have to reinvestigate. From YouTube, Sheikhna, what is the best dua or salah for people who are injured? I have a disc prolapse. Please don't forget me in your adiyah, maybe dua probably. Yes, Sheikh. Someone who is injured, someone who's suffering from a disease or illness or some sort of discomfort from, could be anything, pull muscle, sprain, things like that. Is it a dua or anything that you could, or a prayer that they can do to help with their recovery, shafa'a?
There's a great dua in Mafatih al-Janan with the name of Dua al-Mashlul.
Mashlul.
Yeah, dua of the paralyzed. Very interesting dua.
Wow,
They can
mashallah.
refer back to the dua in Mafatih al-Janan.
Okay.
Dua al-Mashlul.
Wow. I never knew there was a dua for it. Well, obviously there is, but didn't know it was that one. Sheikhna, what is the ruling concerning products from Muslims and non-Muslim countries such as biscuits, chocolates, chewing gum, etc., which one of the ingredients is extracted from the bones of cattle and such like? Does this constitute istihala or a transformation that renders a najis thing tahir?
You see, if there is a certainty that the process of istihala or transformation has been taken place, then of course that item or that product is tahir. But you have to make sure that istihala has been implemented on this product, the transformation from one substance to another. That's istihala is. For example, wine becoming vinegar, مثلا. Otherwise, it remains najis. You cannot consume it. So let's say you buy a chocolate, or let's say anything that might have gelatin, and it doesn't say anything, then it remains najis, because the gelatins are here in the West. It's from the bone of the cows or and such like. So it remains najis unless you are certain and sure there's a istihala process or transformation process with this regard. Then you can consume. Otherwise, it remains najis.
Inshallah. If a part of the human body is separated from it, whether it is skin, flesh, or bone, would the place of separation on the body be considered najis if no bleeding takes place, or would it be tahir?
If there's no traces of blood, then it remains tahir. Even if somebody, there was a question about, the vaccinations or the when they insert the vaccine substance inside the body, that needle which is taken out, if it was with no blood stain, or the arm was with no blood, for example, then of course the arm is tahir and the needle is tahir as well, because there's no blood.
Fair enough. Sheikh from WhatsApp, I want to be a lawyer in the future. I've heard it may be haram. What is the ruling for this?
Well, initially try to study and revise the Shara'i hukum about the qada. We have a big subject in the books of the fiqh about the qada. The conditions and the terms and the criterion of the qadi, of the one who wants to become a lawyer. You read it there, inshallah, and you can make your decision later, inshallah.
Sheikh from WhatsApp also, what will happen to a child who dies at a young age?
Of course, if the child's parents are followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, according to narration, that that child will be nurtured and educated by Fatima alayhi salam in paradise, inshallah. And that child will be waiting for his parents on the Day of Judgment. He won't enter paradise except asking Allah, begging Allah that I won't enter paradise except with my parents. So he'll be like a shafi'. Those who reject shafa'ah, a child can be a shafi' for his parents.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
More questions coming in, Sheikhna. What is the Islamic ruling on eating processed meat? Sheikhna, sometimes processed meat is, they add bread to it, and then so other things like mRNA actually, that they add to make it, the volume of it bigger. The processed meat also is from a halal animal, but they'll use parts of the bones, parts of the fat, parts that are not really, people don't really eat and don't sell on the market, and then they mince it all up and crush it, and they'll make burgers or nuggets or something out of that. Considering it's from a halal animal, what is the ruling on processed meat?
What is important that no parts of the haram parts of the body of the animal is also processed with this meat. Okay. As we mentioned before.
Pancreas.
Exactly.
There's the gallbladder. There's
the parts of the animal which are haram.
The spinal cord.
Yeah. You can't process them.
I think lungs. Are you allowed to eat the lungs?
I'm not sure, but in overall,
Right,
the ones we mentioned,
there are certain organs in the
there's a
body
list basically.
which we're not allowed to eat. So, another question, Sheikhna, is it allowed to celebrate a wedding where there is dancing and music being played?
Not at all. They are all forbidden.
Is it allowed to donate your organs? I'm assuming once you pass away and you die, normally that's when you donate your organs because you don't need them anymore. But Islamically speaking, are you allowed to donate your organs, Sheikhna?
Yes, the ulama mentioned that you can. The internal organs, you can. Your kidney, for example, you can give it as donation.
Assalamu alaikum.
As-salam.
Can you be Shia without being a Rafida, rejecter of them?
I think I've mentioned before that part of the aqidah of the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam is to have the belief in the the wilaya and the bara'ah. Tawalli, tabarri. Tawalla, tabarra. These are both the main parts of the aqidah. The tawalla and tabarra. So you must believe in it at least. Yes, you may not show this or in somehow express it in public. That's up to you. But in overall, you must have this aqidah of showing the tawalli and tabarri in somehow.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. With current trends of women, what is advice for daily wajibat regarding microblading, i.e. semi-permanent ink tattoos for eyebrows and lip tinting on the upper epidermis skin? No need to wear makeup. Okay, so they're saying about cosmetic enhancements, tattooing the eyebrows, maybe getting lip fillers, Botox and so forth. For our sisters, what is the Islamic stance on this?
Well, initially, these are known to be as beautification. And if it's haram from the side of beautification and zina. So they can't have this on their face. That this is some kind of zina. For the salah, because it's been pierced inside the skin, that should be a problem. It's not going to be a barrier. It's not going to be some kind of a paint or something that in which prevents the reach of the water to the skin. So for that instance, it's haram because of being zina, beautification.
Yeah.
For the second part, no, it should be okay because it's not a barrier.
These days, households washing up water ends up mixing with the sewage. Would it be haram to throw food remnants in those water outlets? And if haram, what would be the ruling concerning those remnants sticking to the hand?
Initially, they should not be thrown away. The food, if you have a garden, you can give it to the pigeons, for example, other animals in the park, or you can recycle it. We have food recycled today, in which they would take the food to be recycled. For the remnants and the small pieces of the food, no objection. I mean, they're going to be dissolved in somehow when they reach the pipes and the drains. Well, that's if it doesn't
block your
I mean, it's very small parts. It should be fine.
Have to be careful.
Yeah.
Sheikhna, some countries resort to treating the water used by people in their homes for all their needs. The question is that after treatment of the sewage water, could that be considered tahir? And can it be treated as mutlaq water, given the chemical materials are used for the water treatment?
Well, as long as the subject of the sewage has been removed from this type of water and it doesn't carry the same title, the previous title of the sewage, should be fine.
Okay.
And it should be actually more than or the core. That's the minimum.
I see.
Yeah.
Sheikh, let's go to our Shia Plus video today. Inshallah, see how we can help our shabab.
Your thumb stamp here. Okay, sure. That should be fine. Oh, it's left a mark. Oh, it's time for Maghrib. Would this affect my wudu? Or can I still make wudu with this?
Young Yasser there's got a bit of a mark on his hand, on his thumb. Sheikhna, does it affect the wudu? I think it's ink.
In overall, the ink is not a obstacle on the skin and preventing the water reaching the skin. It should be fine as long as it has no mass or is no barrier between the skin and the water. So the ink and overall should be fine.
Inshallah. Sheikh, we've got more questions coming in from our viewers. Salam. When you use soap to do ghusl, it might contain animal product. And when we wash, are we clean? That's from YouTube. So there's animal product sometime in the soap. So we're doing ghusl, we soap our body and wash and then do ghusl. Are we still considered tahir?
Initially, are you certain that there are animal ingredients within the soap? That's the first question. If you're certain, then when you use that soap and after that you wash, then it becomes tahir. The body becomes tahir and pure. So you've actually washed the najis from your body as a result.
I see. Sheikh, some got a long question here from WhatsApp. Assalamu alaikum. I'm a Muslim single person who lives in the USA. I committed adultery many times with the same woman. Now the woman is pregnant. I would like to know if I can marry her in order to solve the problem. To cover the scandal. So the baby will find a father and get the name. Actually, unfortunately, I would prefer an abortion and I wish to convince her to do that. But don't know if this is considered killing a person. If so, I would feel guilty because of that. I believe the embryo is about 6 to 8 weeks. Please, I need your help as soon as possible. Sheikh, now someone here is considering an abortion. The baby is 6 to 8 years old. Islamically speaking, what is the hukm fiqh-wise? 6 to 8 years old, can it be aborted? What is the Islamic opinion on abortion? Should he marry the lady he's having a child with?
Initially, abortion is absolutely not allowed, not permissible at all. Even if the fetus is 1 day, he's not allowed to abort, or she's allowed to abort that child. And secondly, Ayatollah Sistani mentions that she must repent to Allah Azza wa Jal before the marriage. That's important, tawbah before the marriage. So they have to both ask Allah's forgiveness
for
what they did. But of course, the consequence of the child is born before, out of wedlock. So that's the consequences.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Question, please. Can a baligh lady recite latmiya, noha, or nasheed on YouTube or TV where non-mahram can hear? Is this allowed?
The issue here is that there should be no, as they mention in Arabic, that lahn al-qawl, or the in somehow attractive tune or voice changes usually for ladies with this regard. So they have to be very careful. That usually happens with the soft voice. There was interesting wording, I can't remember now, with this regard, in which if it reaches that stage, then of course it's forbidden. So they have to see themselves if that tune of voice or the recitation leads to that kind of recitations or the tune, then of course it becomes haram. So they put conditions, which is difficult to understand.
Well, what about a lecture? What if she's just giving a
lecture? Is just lecture. If there's no issue with the tune, but when reciting Quran or nasheed, that's the problem. It arises.
I see. More questions coming in. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. Is it a sin to stop a baby from breastfeeding when he is less than 2 years of age? Because it's recommended, no? For
it's recommended, yes, but
for the
they have the right to stop breastfeeding. They have the right, but it's better.
A question here. I want to get a tattoo of the number 313, which symbolizes the army of Imam Mahdi. Is this permissible?
It is permissible, as mentioned before, but we don't really encourage these things. Because if it's permanent tattoo, then one day you might regret that, I can now remove it, for example, or this operation and so forth. So think twice before using the tattoo.
Sheikhna, does rainfall on the najis ground soil purify it?
If the najis or impure substance remains there, and of course the najasa still is there, even if you pour water, running water, what is important that you have to first remove the najasa. And then pour the water, running water or the rain, then it becomes tahir. But having the najasa there is not going to do the job. So you have to make sure that you remove ayn najasa, then you wash it and you purify it.
Sheikhna, if one, while in the process of ghusl, uses the toilet, does he need to redo his ghusl or continue to the end and do wudu? From his opinion of His Eminence, the Grand Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani.
The Sayyid mentions, yes, the one can continue with his ghusl.
Okay.
But when it comes to the wudu, the one must go and perform the wudu as obligatory precaution, ihtiyat wujubi.
After.
Because what happens, ghusl al-janaba, nothing can break it except another act of makes the ghusl wajib, such as intercourse, مثلا, ejaculation, nastajiru billah, na'udhu billah, masturbation, and so forth. These will render the one to do the ghusl of janab as a result. But breaking wind using the toilet would not break and void the ghusl. Yes, it would void the wudu in which the ghusl has this attribute. In other words, yes.
So you're still tahir, but you're not in wudu to continue.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Sheikhna, while I was in this state of ruku', I doubt that I have recited Surah Al-Hamd. Do I need to abort the salah?
What we have in the fiqh, tajawuz mahal, is crossing the stage or passing the stage from the previous to a new stage. So your previous stage was what? Standing up, reciting Hamd and Surah, for example. Now you're in the ruku' position. The fiqh says that because you have reached, or the narration, not only fiqh, the narrations of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, the Imam said famdh means just continue, ignore and continue the salah, because you have reached the stage of let's say ruku' in which you don't have to go back and think about, did I recite Hamd or no, or Surah or haven't recited, because it's a doubt and you're in a new stage, new phase in salah, then you ignore and continue the salah.
I see. Excellent. Sheikhna, some questions here from WhatsApp. I would like to ask, is music haram? Please note that I listen to foreign songs, but always when I'm doing something, such as while studying or revising or when working on the computer as background noise. I do not allocate time to sit and listen only. In other words, it does not distract me from any obligatory duty. I do not listen to songs that provoke desire or that have bad meanings. There may be some words that speak of love, but not in an immoral or provocative way. Is this haram?
As mentioned before, that the haram music, according to some maraja, is the one which is with amusements or joyful singings and songs, such as rock music, jazz,
yes,
DJ and so forth. These are haram music. You cannot listen to them. Again, according to some maraja, other than these you can, the classical and so forth. But some maraja will say all types of music from the music instruments are all haram. Even just playing piano, that's haram as well, for example. So it depends who you follow. But they all agreed that is a consensus of the ulama that those type of music, like jazz, like rock and DJ, they're all haram.
I see. Sheikh, we're going to go to a short break, inshallah. Join us after the break as we continue our discussion here on Ahkam SOS.
I have a question regarding keeping pictures of scholars.
Is it permissible to plant trees by or
was
over
Islam
the
established
graves?
based on peace and
Is it
non-violence?
permissible to collect donations for charity projects from
Is it permitted to consume canned food imported from non-Muslim
Is there an
countries?
issue for men looking at non-Muslim women?
To have your questions answered live, call in on +44 2035 150199 or WhatsApp us on +44 7415 092155. Alternatively, you can also email us on ahkamsos@imamhussain.tv.
Yes, that is how you can send in your questions. If you have any questions you'd like to send in, please send them via the WhatsApp, the email address. Give us a call, 0235150199. If you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, put your comments and questions in the comment section, and inshallah, technical team will send it to me on my iPad, and I will send them and ask the Sheikh, and inshallah, he'll be able to answer your questions. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna.
Assalamu alaikum.
Sheikhna, when the zakah becomes payable for the 4 crops, i.e. wheat, barley, date and raisins, when does it happen?
If their quantity in weight reaches the threshold or the nisab, which is about 847 kilograms and 207 grams. So roughly between 847 to 848, roughly in that amount of kilogram and weight, then of course you have to pay the zakat for these crops.
I see. Excellent. And is it permissible for the mother's husband, stepfather, to look at the hair of his wife's daughter, the stepdaughter?
Yes, it is permissible.
Oh, okay. So normally, when you have a stepfather or a stepmother, the ahkam of the real or biological father and biological mother, those come into place. That's what I've seen from the Hawza books. No, Sheikh?
Yes.
Fantastic. Sheikh, has istikhara any basis in the Sharia? Is there a problem in repeating the istikhara for the same intention by paying alms, sadaqah, before it in order to get a guidance that is to one's liking?
Yes, of course, it is in the Sharia. And the ulama have, for the past centuries, used the istikhara as a means to, get the advice from the Holy Quran, the words of Allah Azza wa Jal, on what to do when they are in doubts and uncertainty and in indecision. This is where you would ask for istikhara. Otherwise, if you're certain, why do you want to go for istikhara? So tawakkal ala Allah and do you whatever you want to do. But istikhara is there when you are in the middle of something, unsure what to do, for example.
Okay, thank you, Sheikh. I wanted to know what marja does the Sheikh taqleed, because I really admire the Sheikh and the way he speaks.
Of course, we are free to choose whoever we want, but of course, I follow Ayatollah Shirazi, as many people know that. But all ulama, mashallah, they are blessed, respected, alim. You have the right to choose whoever you think he is a'lam, or he is in somehow have the capability of extracting those ahkam from its sources, and best thing to go back to the specialist to see which one is the most a'lam and so forth.
Yes, and over my shoulder you can see this a whole range of our maraja, who may Allah lengthen their life, who strive tirelessly to help our religion. Sheikhna, I am a girl who has received many proposals for marriage, but each time my father has done istikhara, it's come out bad. What should I do? Should I keep waiting until the istikhara comes out good? That's a really interesting question, Sheikhna. Istikhara keeps coming out bad for this poor sister who would like to get married. Should she listen to it, or should she remain single? What if the istikhara keeps coming out bad for another 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
It's an awkward situation, because if the father insists on using istikhara and he wouldn't allow for his daughter to be married except istikhara, that's a problem, to be honest. So they need to basically, initially the father needs to change the niyyah. Maybe the niyyah is the problem with the niyyah. So change the niyyah to something else, something easy. I don't know what kind of niyyah he has, but try to change the niyyah first, and then consult and ask about the individual who came for the proposal. In overall, it's better for them to seek guidance and advice from the elderly in the community, the Maulana, whoever is involved with marriage issues. That's the best way.
Shaykhna from YouTube, can a Shia lady do mut'a marriage with a Sunni man?
I think we've mentioned this. It seems to be allowed, but again, the Sunni man, he knows that in his fiqh, it's not allowed. So he needs to check out.
Okay.
But the marriage is allowed between the madahib, the Shia and the non-Shia, be it male or female in overall. But they have to think twice, because they have made it haram in their own fiqh. So why should they be get in such trouble of performing the mut'ah with the Shia when they consider mut'ah as zina? God forbid. Sunnat Rasulullah becomes, na'udhu billah, zina because of Umar's fatwa.
Yes.
Sadly.
Unfortunately. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhna. What is the hukam of one cursing his own religion, Islam, in the state of anger?
they have to repent to Allah by saying astaghfirullah and not to repeat it again, inshallah.
Inshallah. Question. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalam.
Is it permissible to lie about your qualification in order to get a government post?
As mentioned before, Ayatollah Sistani would not allow such acts in which would be against the law of that land or region. So they have to follow the rules and get the qualification from its sources and put some time and efforts to study and learn, because this is how the nations evolve and progress and develop, by studying, by seeking knowledge, and not by cheating and lying.
Sheikh, I've got questions coming in from YouTube. Can a woman do wudu or ghusl without removing her nail polish?
No, she must remove them.
And
Otherwise,
remove-
the ghusl and wudu batil.
What
If that nail, if that polish prevents from the reach of the water, so basically,
sometimes you can get semi-permeable and permeable nail polish, which allows water to seep through. Another one from YouTube. Please advise the basics on how to stop, if not then lessen the exposure of pornography and nudity on social media for the brothers out there. Maybe stop searching it. That might help, wouldn't it?
I mean, those who have stopped smoking, for example, I think they have to get some kind of information from them how they stop smoking, because smoking is very hard to stop, and to avoid smoking is very hard. So
Indeed.
try to ask them how they stopped smoking. Maybe that would be a good experience for them.
Sheikhna, can I lie to my future wife about my past?
You see, lying is not allowed in overall, ala kulli hal. But for the past, you have the right not to tell others of your past. Nobody has the right to, ask you for your past. Where did you go? What did you do? Of course, in overall, when they ask for proposal, they would check some kind of background check, friends, family, teachers, members, and so forth. But in overall, this is your own secrecy and privacy. So why should you tell people about your past? If it's haram, you tell it to Allah Azza wa Jal and ask them, repentance and tawbah. If you did good, then of course tell the good, that I did this and that. I went to Hajj, I went to Ziyarah, I built this mosque. Why not?
Sheikhna, you mentioned before the Dua Mash'ul from Fatih al-Jalan. Is Dua Mash'ul only to be recited by the one who is injured, or also for others who want to pray for the injured person?
Others can also perform this dua.
MashaAllah. Excellent. More questions coming in. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikhna. We're in the month of Rajab. Do you know much about Gunde? Sorry, it's coming up here. Much about the sufra that is been done mainly by the Pakistani Indian community, where they feed people. They know it as Sufra Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Do you know about this sufra that they do in the month of Rajab? It's mainly Pakistanis and Indians. They call it Kunde in their language, where they will have certain rice pudding and also these small biscuits and stuff cooked, and they invite people to come only to eat and go, and they do a lot. Do you know anything about this, or its history or anything like that, Sheikhna?
No, really, but the narrations emphasize on and encourage on at'am al-ta'am, the narration, feeding people, very encouraged. So be it in Rajab or outside Rajab, of course in Rajab and in this sacred month, because the Rajab is a sacred min ashhur al-hurum. We have 4 sacred months, so which is Rajab is one of them. So of course the more good deeds you do in this holy month, of course it's more rewardable. So of course if one can feed in this month, that would be great.
Inshallah. The question: can I eat at the house of Ahl al-Kitab even though their books aren't the true Bible and Torah?
Yes, you can, but you have to avoid their haram meat, meat and chicken and so forth.
Yes.
And if they serve alcohol, you have to, of course, you can't sit on the dinner table where they serve alcohol, for example.
Sheikhna, what is the ruling for men attending mixed places such as swimming pools and gyms, where women are usually indecently dressed? Also, what is the ruling supposing that there is no lustful indecent look from the man?
Basically, Ayatollah Sistani mentions that it is not permissible for such gathering in that with that indecent looking. على كل حال, so one should avoid such places. Of course, the issue of not looking without intention is an issue argument, that would they look with intention or without intention. But in overall, the maraja would, as a precaution, would avoid for the one to go into such places because of indecent clothing. Imagine that it's, most of the body is visible, naked, so one should avoid.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Sheikh. And thanks to all of you for joining us on this episode of Ahkam SOS. If we didn't get to answer your question, we do apologize. And inshallah, we'll be able to ask you on the next episode that we have. If you'd like to send in more questions, please send them in via the WhatsApp, the email address. Give us a call next time on the show, 0203-515-0199. Whether you're watching on Facebook Live or you're watching on YouTube, you can put your questions in the comment section, and inshallah we'll be able to discuss all of your questions. If you have TikTok, you can follow us on TikTok at Ahkam SOS, where we have exclusive and particular specific material just for our TikTok followers, and we do definitely interact with our followers. Please follow us at Ahkam SOS. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
We question our daily position, seeking answers and definitions. Get the queries off your chest with Ahkam SOS.
In the heart of Karbala, we stand tall, proud and eager to welcome you, to relieve your mind so you can remain focused on what's important, your spirituality, our hospitality, your peace of mind, our dedication to excellence. We are and plan to remain the most diligent and efficient hotel in the city of wonder. Thank you for checking in at the barren Karbala.
Imam Hussain Media Group is a virtual university that works on a global scale to spread the true message of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt's peace and blessings be upon them. Imam Hussain TV was established 10 years ago in the city of Isfahan, Iran. We work to cover all aspects of religion, Islamic jurisprudence, politics, philosophy and many more, and aim to bring the public's attention to the righteous Islamic sect, Shia Islam. Our ultimate goal as a media group is to convey the interpretations of the Holy Quran as well as the traditions and knowledge of the Holy Prophet and his progeny, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. Our objectives are to protect and safeguard the Shia youth from the destructive impact of immoral ideologies, standing up against injustice by documenting the oppression of Shia across the globe, as well as encouraging peace and unity amongst the Muslims. To reach our aims and serve the Muslim Ummah, we require a budget that would cover all the expenses for our productions, allowing us to work on different projects. Imam Hussain Media Group is a crowd-funded project. We have no sales nor do we charge for our services. We solely rely on monthly payments, financial contributions, donations, religious alms and generous gifts. The expenses of each production varies depending on the type of project and the style of filming. There are many elements to a production that requires time and capital. The producer must analyze the costs of the venue hire, equipment, transport, feature fees, set design, staff support and further additional costs. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, narrated, "The best of people is he from whom people benefit." It is up to you to help the Muslim Ummah come together and help guide the youth in remaining on the correct path of Islam. To take part in this global conquest and to spread the message of Imam Hussain, peace and blessings be upon him, please visit www.imamhussain3.tv or give us a call on +44 0203 515 0199. You can also contact us via WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, or even email us on donate@imamhussain.tv. Let's work together hand in hand to elevate the faith of our Shia youth today.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. In a way, each and every one of us is a Shia voice. But imagine being known as the Shia voice. I've traveled across the world, but especially in the UK, I've seen some wonderful talent. Whether it's in the north of England or in the south, in the east or the west, I've come across some of the best Quran reciters, some young and some a bit older. I've come across some of the best Noha, Qasida, Nasheed, Latmiya reciters. Once again, some maybe at the age of 7, others maybe in their 50s. I've come across certain people in our communities, young and old, who have given talks 5-10 minutes long. They have the talent to be an orator one day, a dhakir, or even someone who's known as a khatib of the Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam. The aim of this competition by Imam Hussain TV, known as the Shia Voice, is to actually look for the talent in our community. Scout it in a way, give it an opportunity, give it a chance. Come on the big stage in front of judges who may already be established as Shia voices. It is an honor for us to be known as a Shia voice because it means that we have a chance to be remembered alongside the great Shia voices of the past, such as Salman and Abu Dhar and Miqdad, or the voices of the orators and those who gave sermons and recited supplication and prayers on the 10th of Muharram alongside Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And there's an incentive. The incentive is that you'll be remembered alongside the greatest voices in the past. The smaller incentive is that we're looking to give a gift of £10,000 to help kickstart this person's career. And so this particular gift is to help. The incentive ultimately is to be remembered as being amongst the voices of those who sought to protect the path and the teachings of the Prophet and the Holy Household. Come to the auditions and be remembered as a Shia voice.
IHDRF is proud to announce the launch of its app, Sadaqah. Sadaqah is a modern, easy, and interactive way for you to pay your charity. Your Sadaqah can be transferred instantly and directly start helping orphans. Furthermore, you can donate to different projects such as clothing orphans, supplying clean water, heating fuel for the winter, and feeding the hungry. When you pay your Sadaqah, it will be used to feed, clothe, and school orphans. Our app is accessible via the App Store and Google Play Store. Download today and pay your Sadaqah.
Have a duty towards the preservation and the propagation of the message of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Indeed, one of the best ways to work towards the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif is through promoting the values of Karbala. Imam Hussain Media Group is the only Shia television network that broadcasts globally in 5 different languages: Arabic, Farsi, Turkish, Urdu, and English. We are appealing to the lovers of Imam Hussain alayhi salam worldwide to support the channel such that it may continue its global operations. Imam Hussain Media Group is seeking 1,000 partners to pledge to a £14 contribution per month. This will allow the channel to sustain its operating costs as we continue to spread the message of Imam Hussain alayhi salam in multiple languages across the globe. You be a part of this great legacy and donate today. You can pledge in two ways. www.imamhussain3.tv/donate will take you direct to our donation page where you can pledge monthly. Or you can call or WhatsApp us on 0044 793 9917163. Imam Hussain TV, your gateway to Karbala.